everyone, and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Pearse McLaughlin. Hello, Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. On today's podcast, we'll be discussing the results from the last 16 ties that have just been played in the Euros, and we'll also give a preview of the quarter-final matches of the Euros that will be coming up. And then we'll also, after we talk about that, Pearse will round up all the latest Asian football news. So start off from last Saturday, which was Saturday the 29th of June. The last 16 games of the Euros kicked off. So we had two matches on that day, and the results finished Switzerland 2, Italy 0, and Germany 2, Denmark 0. So we now know that Switzerland and Germany are in the quarter-final. So, Pearse, which match from that day stands out to you the most?
Well, it's going to be the first one, Switzerland, Italy. I watched that game in great detail. I thought, in terms of Italy, in terms of as a performance, I thought they were miles off it. I thought they just lacked legs and energy, and they didn't match the enthusiasm and the work rate of a Switzerland side who are very well organised, and they're a very experienced side who always seem to make it to the last stage of competitions. But you thought with Italy, with obviously the new manager in charge, you thought they maybe get a tune out of the players. Because the Mancini failed to qualify for World Cup after winning the Euros. So it's not really gone to plan. They scraped out the groups. A lot of teams haven't been convincing this tournament, but Italy weren't really. But even though you still have that aura, it's still Italy, you know what I mean? But no, for me, they were miles off. I thought Switzerland, to a man, were outstanding. And I think obviously the pick of the bunch was the Vargas goal, where he just cut in and bent it the top corner. But I don't know if you've seen in the build-up to that goal, if you look back on it, Brian Cristante is just seen walking towards it and then makes a last-ditch attempt at the last minute to even attempt to block it. So in terms of stuff like that, it's like the fine details. It's whoever wants it more at the end of the day. You can be as talented as you want, but you cannot have 11 players that are not 100% at it. And I thought Donnarumma kept the scoreline down. I thought he was the one player that was outstanding for Italy, and he can have his head held high. But no, I thought Switzerland deserved to go through, and they were in Scotland's group, and Scotland got a point off them. So they must have had an off day that day, but no, they're a really good side. And really good side, and
Scotland.
that was not a good side, but that was a surprise result. But if you look at it in great detail, it's probably not a surprise result. But for me, it's a standout result.
Yeah, no, I agree. That game is the one that stands out to me the most from that day. I think a lot of it, I mean, Switzerland totally deserve to go through. So they are well worth mentioning that. But I think a lot of that match was to do with how bad Italy were. I mean, you would never have thought, the way you looked at the Italy team that played, that they were in a quarter final. Sorry, they were in the last 16 to get to the quarter final of a major tournament. They were really, really poor. I mean, they were the champions. They're the defending champions. Well, they were the defending champions. And when you look at the team that won the Euros and at the last Euros compared to the team that have just been put out by Switzerland in this Euros, I mean, it is night and day. They are definitely in a transition, Italy. They've lost the likes of Bonucci, Chiellini, Verratti, who, these kind of players were all in that Euros in 2021 when they won it. They've lost these types of players, which are really, really big, massive characters for that Italian team. They're not there anymore. And yeah, I just think for Italy, they're going through a transitional period. It really looks like that. There definitely has to be a rebuild there to go on because, even going forward, I thought they were really poor. They didn't offer anything going forward. Scamacca was really poor. Chiesa's not had a good tournament. Didn't have a good tournament at all. They had the players like, I think it's Retegui, who's not really I don't think he's the answer for if the Italy want to go far in tournaments. I don't think players like him are really the answer. They've got two young centre backs in Bastoni and Calafiori, who are very good, but they're not experienced. So it's very much an inexperienced team from Italy. There was a lot of talk about Spalletti's future after that match, where he's the right man to take Italy forward. And it has been confirmed by the Italian FA that he will stay as Italy manager. So Spalletti's going to get the chance to have another shot at this Italy team and see if he can sort it out and kind of get Italy back near the top again. Because at the moment, they further deserve to go out, and Switzerland further deserve to go through. So that was definitely my match from the day, from that day. But obviously, just briefly mentioned Germany, who won, who they deserve to win. I mean, it was quite controversial, that match. There was a lot of delays as well. But Germany did go through 2-0. So yeah, we'll move on now to the day after, which was Sunday, the 30th of June. Two matches there: England 2, Slovakia 1, and Spain 4, Georgia 1. So England and Spain qualify to the quarterfinals. I don't think I need to. I think I know what you're going to say here, Pearse, but I'll just ask you about the match that stood out to you the most.
Probably the England Slovakia.
Yeah.
Well, for me that was a Monday morning. So I stayed up to 4 a.m. to watch that match, and it wasn't a great watch, to be honest. Thought Slovakia defended really manfully. Got an early lead, which was perfect for them. Sort of allowed them to sit in and have that pragmatic approach, where they just invited like crosses into the box, and they've got big towering defenders. And I thought someone like Stanislav Lobotka was superb in terms of just in front of that back three, where he just kind of dictated the play, almost like a Marco Verratti type player, 5'5". And anytime he get the ball, he just always keeps it side to side, and he even sometimes play the ball through the passing through the lines. I thought he was one that just kind of also when you're defending, you need to retain the ball, and that was something some teams don't always do when they invite pressure to get a ball cheaply, and it just wave after wave of attack. So that allowed to ease some of the pressure on that. Also, with England, who weren't very good going forward, I thought, like you said, they only had the first shot on target was the equaliser in the 95th minute, and they only had 2 shots on target in the entire game. So again, England weren't great, and it was the subs that kind of again rescued them. Someone like Cole Palmer, Ivan Toney had big impacts in the game. And then obviously Bellingham gets the goal, but again he didn't have a great outing. I thought he looked very tired, very lacklustre. And I just think there's something really imbalanced about the England side, and it's just not clicking. And I think if you ask any England fan, even the most optimistic, they'll say they're very lucky, because if that game finished a minute earlier, they're out. And it's probably that's probably talking similar to the levels of what the Iceland result back in 2016. So, but now we're talking about obviously another clutch goal for Jude Bellingham, and he just seems to add these important goals to his game at only 21 years old. But England get the job done. They get through a very lucky tie, and they're on, like you say, we touched on it after they qualified through the group. They're on a very easy side of the tournament in terms of on paper, and they made Slovakia look very difficult in terms of a test to get past. And Stanislav and I thought Slovakia did brilliant. I think the equaliser knocked the stuffing out of them, and
Yeah, definitely.
they made so many changes in terms of trying to just maintain that slender lead. And it got extra time. England got that goal within a minute, and then you seen Gareth Southgate revert to a 5-6 at the back, and then Slovakia just didn't have enough quality to really break them down. But I think England get through, but I think that was a standard result in terms of how poor England were, but they somehow get through in extra time.
Yeah, totally agree. With everything you just said, that was the standout match from that day as well for me. Basically, very unconvincing from England, and they have been all tournament. I really thought we were going to be in for one of the shocks of the Euros tournament history, when Slovakia were seconds away from defeating England. And then you just obviously talked about that brilliant overhead kick from Jude Bellingham. I mean, and that was even the ball was just a throw in. It was just a hopeful throw in the hope that somebody might, latch onto it. And Jude Bellingham was there to overhead kick it, and it hits the back of the net. The moment that goal went in for England to make it 1-1, I just knew England were going to go on and win it. You could tell from Slovakia that they were just hanging on for dear life at the end. I don't think they would have done enough in extra time to go through. I just think England would have been a bit too strong, and they did because England scored, as you said, literally a minute into the start of the extra time. So England go through very, very unconvincingly, though. I mean, with a team of that quality, not once this tournament so far have I seen a good performance from England. Every game that they've played so far has been a struggle. As you said, there's something definitely not right in there in that team. I think they've got too many good players in that team. I think that's what the problem is, and they don't all gel together. We've got Alexa Phil Foden, who's predominantly a number 10. He's playing out wide, and you can just tell it doesn't suit him at all. I don't think Harry Kane looks 100% fit as well. So just like in defensively, I think they've got issues. I don't think defensively they're very strong. So they've got issues that Gareth Southgate has got to sort out if they have any aspirations of even winning this tournament. Because at the moment, they play Switzerland. We'll talk just a little bit about that later on. But they play Switzerland, and at the moment, Switzerland are favourites, in my opinion. So, yeah. So that game stood out to me the most on that day. And then obviously Spain defeated Georgia 4-1. Very, very good performance from Spain. And yeah, they had no issues at all against Georgia. So we'll move on to Monday, the 1st of July. Once again, there was 2 matches played on that day. So we had France 1, Belgium 0, and Portugal 0, Slovenia 0, but Portugal won 3-0 on penalties. So France and Portugal both progressed to the Euro quarter-final. So a very low scoring day, but Pearse, which match stood out to you the most?
The 0-0 game.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I think Portugal, Slovenia. I think, again, it's attack versus defence, but again, it's an attack that wasn't really breaking down a stubborn defence, and obviously someone like a world-class goalkeeper in Jan Oblak, you're always going to have a chance of staying in any game. But I just seen in the game, both sides had chances. Ronaldo had a few opportunities, and especially extra time he had the penalty, which was expertly saved by Jan Oblak. Who obviously knows him very well from his time in La Liga, Real Madrid and Atletico, so maybe he did his homework that way. And then obviously you had Benjamin Sesko, who capitalised on a mistake from Pepe, and you thought, that's it. Nearly a couple of minutes before the end, you thought, this is your chance, young man, take it. Put Portugal out, and Diego Costa, what a save, by the way, what a save. The big foot, and I think he's got to be the man to talk about, because even in the penalty shootout, when it goes to penalties, he makes sure it goes to penalties. It's very much similar to Emiliano Martinez's save against Kolo Muani in the World Cup final. I think that's not just as important, but I think it's just equally as good as a save. Just
Yeah,
stick a big boot out, make yourself big as
very
possible.
familiar.
Yeah, very familiar. It's very much in the mould of someone like Peter Schmeichel back in the day, where he just made himself big,
Yeah.
imposing, and try to close off a lot of the angle of the goal. Brilliant save, and then it goes to penalties. And I think Ronaldo has got obviously massive cojones. The fact is he missed only moments before the end, maybe 10 minutes before the end, obviously an extra time to then go and take the first penalty. And then not just do that, but also to score it as well. And obviously, people have a question, obviously 39 years of age, but I think his legacy, for me, he's a greatest player of all time. And I think, similar to Messi, right, both have not scored in either competition so far, but you need to think about their age, but they're still performing. I think they're still having a positive effect in the team, especially Ronaldo. His movement is really good. It's just the fact is, maybe it's not falling for him at the moment. But I think he's not having a detrimental effect in the team, because I think someone like Gonzalo Ramos wouldn't improve the side.
Yeah.
Because he's not had a great season for PSG, in and out the side. Someone, Diego Jota, he's been injured for a lot of part of the season, so he's not really been fully fit. João Felix, you wouldn't say is a clinical number 9. So, in terms of what the options they've got, he is still the best option they have. But I think obviously the main man was Diogo Costa. I thought his 3 penalty saves, and obviously he saves Portugal through. And there was a touching post on his social media today where he says he put a picture of him hugging Cristiano Ronaldo, and it says Ronaldo said to him, you stop me for retiring internationally.
There
And
you go.
I think that's a massive mindset into Ronaldo, because obviously he's thought that's his last opportunity. And you've seen the way when he scored, he was apologetic to his country, because he thought he let his country down, because Slovenia they were really competitive in the game.
Yep.
It was really tight, and like you said, they've got good players going forward. Like Sesko, Ilicic, and who's another brilliant story. Eventually, he missed his penalty, but him just being on that stage again after his depression and stuff like that is just a great thing to see. But no, I thought it was a really tight game, and for me, that was a standout game.
Yep. Same with me. For a 0-0, I thought it was very entertaining. Lots of stuff happened in the game. Most notably, the Ronaldo penalty miss in extra time, and then obviously after the penalty miss, the at half time and extra time, he started crying. But I think it was something to do with the fact that he saw his mum in the crowd, and I think she looked upset. So I think that's what got him upset. But people were kind of taking the mix, so to speak, about the fact that he was crying. But I actually like to see that, because it shows, even though he's 39 years old, like he still cares so much about the game. He knows how much. That could have been so costly, that penalty miss. It wasn't in the end for him, but you know, for someone like Ronaldo, things like that, like, are just show the mentality and the character he's got. Because I don't think many people would have reacted like that, in terms of getting really upset at about the fact they missed the penalty. So I really liked it when I saw that. But yeah, you were saying there, I think the man of the match was Diego Costa, the goalkeeper for Portugal. He keeps them in it. They could have easily went out when Pepe made that mistake, when he made the slip, and Chesko went through 1-on-1 in the last couple of minutes of extra time, and Diego Costa came out with that brilliant save. And I think that just gave him the confidence going into that penalty shootout, because he was on. I think he must have been on such a high that he's just basically kept Portugal in the tournament, and then come the penalty shout. I mean, he looked like a man demented to me. He just every before it. I mean, Slovenia, sorry, took three penalties, and the three penalties, I said to myself, they're not going to score this. I just knew Diego Costa. I don't know why. I just knew he was going to save every one of them. What a performance he put in. Definitely the man of the match. But I think Portugal did deserve to go through. They had much more of the game, a lot more of the ball. They had more chances. But Slovenia should be very proud of themselves. I thought throughout the whole tournament they've been really good. They played England in the last match before Portugal, and I thought they played really well in that game.
Tom,
So
before,
yeah,
before
Slovenia,
we move
on
on,
you go.
I think we need to mention, obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, about the BBC about the ridicule of Ronaldo.
Yeah, I did see that. I think that was very disrespectful, to be honest.
Very disrespectful, and I don't think a public broadcaster such as the BBC, who's
Yeah,
long-standing, in the highlights package put Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think
yeah, I saw
a
that.
player would get that ridicule, and a lot of ex-professionals, most noticeably what I seen was John Terry, was very outraged with that, because I don't think
Yeah,
any current player or any professional footballer should get that ridicule on public TV. That's more for like fans to do.
yeah. There's no
A
need for that.
public broadcaster, I think that's out of order.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. There was definitely no need for that. I mean, just show the miss. I mean, I know they've got to analyze because it's also a big moment in the game, but there's no need to start putting kind of jokey headlines and stuff. And I thought it was a bit too much. You know, and the fact that someone of Cristiano Ronaldo's caliber, I mean, I don't think he kind of deserves to be given that kind of title, because I mean he's one of the best players to ever play the game. So yeah, I thought it was a bit too much, but anyway, I don't think they really matter anymore, because Portugal are through to the quarterfinals anyway. Um, so yeah, that game, and then obviously just briefly France Belgium. I thought it was a very boring match, to be honest. And France unconvincingly go through again. So yeah, they're now in the quarterfinals as well.
Another own goal.
So another own goal, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what it is at the moment with France and own goals. And then finally, we'll move on to yesterday's matches, which was Tuesday, the 2nd of July. Two matches there. Romania 0, Netherlands 3, and Austria 1, Turkey 2. So we now know that the last two remaining spots of the quarterfinals will be taken by Netherlands and Turkey. So, Pearse, which match stood out to you the most?
I think it's got to be the Austria-Turkey because I think I'd Austria favourites to beat Turkey because I think Austria has impressed me in a few times that I've watched them this tournament. I think it's most noticeable the game is Poland, where they just beat them convincingly 3-1. And I fully expect them to beat Turkey. Turkey against Portugal, they get beat 3-0, but they're very competitive. And they've got a lot of quality in the ball, but I thought in that game against Portugal, sometimes a lot of the creative balls are far too deep. And we're more focused on nullifying the attack. But I think once they got in the ball, they've got players like Arda Güler, the young Real Madrid creative midfielder. You've got Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the captain, who again is the orchestrator of everything. And I think the one player that really impressed me for Turkey this whole tournament has been the left back. I think it's Kardioglu from Fenerbahce. I think he's really impressed me in terms of his attacking outlet and his defensive work rate. So he's been one that's really impressed me in terms of he can go either way with left foot or right foot, and he's just been just really solid. And I think Turkey. It was a shock result because you look at the Austria team's filled with like really like well seasoned pros. Similar to Switzerland, they all seem to make kind of like decent fist themselves. And obviously, we mentioned it in last week's podcast about how well they're playing under Ralph Rangnick and how well they've got them playing, and they've got a really good run at the moment. And obviously, Turkey just I think that was a shock result. And they've got to be dark horses now in terms of maybe progressing maybe into the semi-finals. But you never know. But I thought in terms of the result. A narrow 2-1 win, but I thought Arda Güler was a standout. He got the assist as well for the first Emerald goal. And I thought he was one of the standout players. But for me, Turkey, that was a short result to see him go through.
Yep. I'd agree. I think I actually thought both games were really good, but I'd agree with that game as well. I thought it was really entertaining as well. I actually thought it was a really entertaining match. Surprised that Turkey went through because I've been really impressed with Austria, as you said, this whole tournament. But Turkey were really good on the night. Demiral scored two very good headers, which gave Turkey that cushion. And then Austria kind of replied after Turkey's second goal very quickly. And then it turned into a really good ending to the match where Austria were really pushing to try and get back into the game. And then there was a header from one of the Austria defenders, I think it was, and it was a great save from the Turkey goalkeeper. I think it's so far the save of the tournament. It was a really good save. But that's Turkey through to the Euros quarter final. A very good achievement for them. Their fans who are they're crazy. They'll be delighted. And obviously Turkey they've been actually quite good in this so far in this tournament. Mentioned Arda Güler, who's been really good. The likes of him and Çalhanoğlu. So yeah, very well done to Turkey. And I just wanted to briefly mention Holland, who won 3-0 against Romania, and that was definitely Holland's best game in the tournament so far. I thought they were really good. They totally deserved to win, controlled the match. And Cody Gakpo, who I think who scored yesterday, I think he's been really good this tournament so far. I've been really impressed with him. So so Austria and Holland Turkey and Holland take the last two quarter-final spots. The first quarter-final matches will be played on. It will be played on the Friday, the 5th of July, and that will be Spain versus Germany and Portugal versus France. And then the day after that, Sunday the 6th of July, we have England v Switzerland and Holland v Turkey. And then on Sunday, so that's the quarter-final matches. So we'll start off with Spain versus Germany and Portugal versus France. Who do you think will win those matches, Pearse?
I'm going to say Spain and Portugal. I think in terms of touching the Spain Germany one first, I think both teams I've had very good tournaments so far. Obviously, Germany host nation. I think they surprised a lot of people with how good they played in terms of defence and offensively. But I think when it comes to Spain, I think Spain have been the standout team of this tournament. Just in terms of the overall play, I think they've just been the most exciting to watch. And they've just been, every game I've watched, I've been thoroughly impressed. And that's why we didn't really have to mention their game in terms of the last 16, because they've just been so consistent. When you've got someone like a Rodri at the base of the midfield, it makes such a difference. He's just a calm, composed influence in the team. And I think the midfield has got a really good balance. They've got Rodri, Pedri, and Fabian Ruiz. I think that they've been brilliant. And then they've got pace wings with like Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, and then Morata up front, who's very experienced and scores goals for Spain all the time in terms of major tournaments. And I think the only probably the issue that I probably watched with the Georgia game was they did get caught out a couple of times in the transition. And I think Germany will exploit that more than Georgia did. Although Georgia have Kvaratskhelia, he was kind of the only one having Mikitadze. It was only kind of the two attacking players for Georgia. So because like Spain were leaving man for man, so 2v2. And if you do that against Germany, I think you will get more punished. And the further on the competition, you're going to get punished with the finest of margins. I think both these matches will be tight, and I think the Spain-Germany match will be very tight. I'm going to go 3-2 Spain in extra time. I think there will be goals, because I think there's just too much quality in the pitch not for there not to be goals. Two top quality goals as well: Unai Simon, Manuel Neuer, Rodri at the base of Spain, and you've got Kroos at the base of the Germany midfield as well. And then you've got Wirtz and Musiala, and then against Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. So I think in terms of attacking, it's brilliant. It's set up for an absolute blockbuster tie, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then the Portugal-France, I think again that'll be a tight affair. I think that one could potentially go to penalties again. I think Portugal, for me, with the strength and depth they have, I think they've played a lot better in this tournament compared to France. I think they're just slight favourites. France, we've touched on, they've scored 3 goals this tournament. 1 is a penalty and 2 own goals. So they've been very underwhelming, to say the least, considering the talent they have across the board in terms of the squad. So I think they were everyone's favourite before the start of the tournament. And the fact that Didier Deschamps has chopped and changed the team in terms of personnel and positions. Because you look at Griezmann, he's been playing as like a centre mid, and he's playing striker, and he's playing right wing. You've got Belly playing right wing, Mbappe playing on the left. He doesn't seem to know the right combinations to play at the moment, and that's not a great sign heading into a quarter-final tie. So I think Portugal for me are slight favourites.
Yep. So I think Spain will defeat Germany, and I think Spain will go through the semi-final. That'll be a very good game, very tight. But I just think with the way Spain are playing at the moment, the way they're kind of passing the ball about, the way they're controlling games, their 2 wingers, Lamine Yamal and Inaki Williams, have been brilliant this tournament so far. I just think they'll have a bit too much for Germany. I think Germany have been really good in this tournament so far, but I think you briefly mentioned it. They play far too open for me, and I just think Spain will kind of capitalise on the space that Germany will leave, and I think they will go on to defeat Germany. I'm actually going to say it's going to end 2-1 to Spain. Yeah, I think Germany will score. I'm going to say 2-1 to Spain. But what a tie that's going to be, because I think they're the 2 best teams in the tournament so far. So that's going to be really exciting. And then Portugal France. I'm going to say Portugal win that 1-0. I don't know why, but I just have this feeling that Portugal will score in the last 9 minutes of the match. I think both teams have been not great in this tournament so far. But I just think with France, I'm not sure. There's just something not right there at the moment. And I just think Portugal will just nick it just about. And I think that'll be a really late goal to decide who wins that match. So I'm going to say 1-0 Portugal. And then we'll move on. So England v Switzerland, and then Holland v Turkey. So what do you think the scores will be in that match?
Touching the first one, England, Switzerland. I think Switzerland for me are favourites for that. I think for England, luck runs out eventually. You cannot have it that lucky the whole way in terms of your group stage and then the passage through and obviously scoring the last minute to Slovakia. I think Switzerland have been consistent throughout the full tournament so far. They're a workman-like team, but also get superior quality going forward. And I think they will hurt England, and especially for me, which is a key miss for England, will be Mark Gahey, who's now suspended, and he's been the rock at the back for them at the moment. So the fact is they'll have, and potentially Kieran Trippier went off injured against Slovakia as well, so potentially that left-hand side of defence could be completely changed. So you could see maybe Bukayo Saka or a midfielder playing there at left back, and then Konsa probably come in, who's only played extra time in the last game. So for me, I think Switzerland for me are slight favourites because they've just played better in this tournament. I think they offer more going forward, and I think they're more a team rather than individuals who are not performing to their potential. And then obviously the Netherlands Turkey, I think Netherlands fit form at the right time, but it won't be a piece of cake. I think they'll have a bit too much quality in terms of going forward, and I think at the back as well they're really solid. Holland, because you've got Virgil van Dijk and Matthijs de Ligt and Nathan Ake. I think that is a good base, and then you've got Gakpo, Depay, Donyell Malen, Xavi Simons. I think they'll just get too much quality to beat Turkey, and I think the results for both matches, I think England will lose 2-0, and I think Holland will win 3-1.
Yep. England, Switzerland. I'm going to go for a Switzerland win. No, actually, sorry, I'm not. I'm going to go for an England win. Sorry, I'm going to go for an England win. I just think England will. I think England have had too many warnings now. In terms of the fact that they've had very poor performances, I think there's going to be at one point they're going to have to have a really good performance, and I think Saturday will be that day where they kind of put in the performance that the tournament's kind of waited for. There's just too much quality there, especially going forward. So I'm going to say England win that game 2-1. And then Holland versus Turkey. I'm going to say Holland, based on all what you just said about the fact that Holland have kind of hit form at the right time. I just think Turkey, I just don't think they'll have enough, especially what you said as well. But the fact Holland's attack, I just think it will be too strong for Turkey's defence. So I'm actually going to agree with you. I think that match will finish 3-1 Holland. And yes, so all these matches will be played later on in the week in the quarterfinals. It's going to be really exciting. And then, next week we'll discuss all these matches that have been played, and then we'll also preview the semi-final. So we'll now talk about all the latest Asian football news, and Pearse will give all the roundup.
Yeah, so start off with K-League 1 action. So Saturday 20th of June we had Gimcha Sangwon 2, Daegu FC 0, Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors 1, FC Seoul 5, Daejeon Hana Citizen 0, Suwon FC 2. Sunday the 30th of June we had Hwang Steelers 2, Ulsan HD FC 1, Gwangju FC 2, Jeju United 1, Incheon United 0, Gangwon FC 1. So it's leading table looking like this. At the top of the table we have Gimcheong Sangmu after 20 matches played on 39 points. Ulsan HD just behind them on 38, and Hwang Steelers making up the third place in 37 points. So two points separating the top three. So it's very tight at the top of the K-League at the moment, with the new boys still leading the way. And at the bottom of the table we have Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors, who have changed manager and are still not having any success. Get thumped at the weekend by FC Seoul in a match where they were just second best, and they look like relegation fodder for a team that used to be the record champions in the K-League. It's sad times to see. So they're at the bottom on 16 points, just above them Daejeon Hana Citizen in 18 points, and then 10th and 9th position respectively, both joint on 20 points, is Daegu FC and Incheon United separated by just the 3 goals. So moving on to J-League 1 action now. So Saturday 20th of June we had Hoikuro Console Sapporo 0, Albirex Niigata 1, Kawasaki Frontale 1, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 1, Yokohama F. Marinos 1, Tokyo Verdy 2. Sunday the 30th of June, Cerezo Osaka 2, Nagoya Grampus 1, Gambo Osaka 1, FC Mitsubishi Elvia 3, FC Tokyo 0, Avispa Fukuoka 1, Uri Diamonds 3, Jubilo Iwata 0, Sagan Tosu 1, Kashi Uriso 4, Shonan Bernmere 0, Kyoto Sanga FC 1, Vissel Kobe 3, Cashew Antlers 1. So let's leave the table looking like this. SCBC Reserve now got a 5-point lead at the top of the table. They've got 21 matches played, 43 points with a plus 17 goal difference. So they're runaway leaders at the moment. Cashew Antlers in second place on 38 points. Third week Gamble Saka, third on 38 points also. And fourth position we have last season champions Vissel Kobe in 37 points. So at the bottom of the table we have Hoikuro Console Sapporo on 11 points. A minus 25 goal difference. It's safe to say they're most likely going to get relegated at this point. 19th district Shona and Belmare on 16 points, and then Sagan Tusu in 18th with 17 points with a game in hand, which they'll play tomorrow. And then Kyoto Sanga FC with 18 points in 17th position. So in terms of other Asian football news, Gangwon FC winger Yan Min-Hyuk is in negotiation with a top Premier League club. The transfer fee is expected to break the K League record with an eventual transfer, also with an option with a loan back to Gangwon, considering he is only 17 years of age. So that is one to watch out for. Alexander Schultz and Hiroki Sakai played their final match at the weekend for Urawa Red Diamonds as both players bid farewell in front of their adoring fans. It's yet to be confirmed where the next club is going to be, but we've got you covered on that. So Ulsan HDFC have terminated the contract of Hungarian forward Martin Adam, who was representing Hungary at Euro 2024 in Germany. Ulsan have moved quickly to replace him with Iago Cariello. So Guangzhou FC have agreed to allow the transfer of forward Ji-sung, 22, to English Championship side Swansea City, with details of the deal still to be finalised. Guangzhou rejected a $1 million offer for the 22-year-old last week. The figures being discussed now puts the figure at $1.3 million with add-ons and further incentives. Has one appearance for the senior South Korean national team, and he also scored in his 14-minute cameo over Iceland back in January 2022. Ji-sung is more of a regular for the under-23 national side, having played 7 times already this season. Also playing a major role in winning the WAFF under-23 championship back in March. If the move goes ahead, Ji-sung would become the second Korean to play for Swansea City after Kae Young, who played for the club between 2012 and 2018. Swansea City haven't achieved promotion back to the Premier League since their relegation in 2018. And that's all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.